Hey there everybody, Matt here from Matt's Trains and Tractors. Right before we jump into today's video, I just want to apologize for my absence on YouTube. I've been gone for a little over than a month now, and the reason for that is school has been very busy, and then we went right into spring break for me. And yes, even though I do have 2 weeks off from school, I do have a job, and I've also been doing a lot of work on the layout power-wise. One thing that you guys might know if you've been to some of my live streams is that the power is not very good in some areas, and my father and I have been working to improve the power in those areas. Some of those being in the back area where it's a little harder to reach. So we've been kind of cleaning up the layout, trying to just fix the power, and I've also been doing some scenery work. During that time, I have put some grass and ballast down in the yard, and I've also added a new yard. Today's video is going to be a layout update. The power status currently on the layout is not really 100%. In other words, I can't really run engines in a running session that I'd like to. But in the meantime, sit back, relax, and enjoy. I'm going to be sharing with you guys some of the progress I've made on both of the freight yards. Yes, there are now 2 freight yards. Enjoy. Okay, so right here I've got a bird's eye view. I'll get some lower shots in a second, but this is really the first time that the scenery in this first freight yard here has been shown on camera and really on my YouTube channel. I got some ballast. I didn't really do the neatest job. I still have an area to touch up down here. As you can see, the ballast is kind of spread out along the dirt, but at the same time, freight yards are not art exhibitions, right? You know, not the very best job on the ballast down here. As you can see, there's a little bit spread out, but at the same time, I think it looks good for a yard. I've got this little building down here that if I put the camera down, it makes a really cool scene for, you know, you have your mainline track on the right, and then you have your freight cars over here on the left. This building is something that I got a few weeks ago and then recently put in. It just makes for a really cool life-size and realistic image. If you put the camera low enough, it actually looks like something real, which is one of the few angles on my layout that I can actually do that from. Sorry for shooting into the light here. I know people who are big in lighting would tell me I'm going against the law here, but just to get another angle for you guys, this is the first yard. So for those of you who remember the yard in the past, the track that the gen set on here is the classification track right before the train exits to go to the main line over there on the left. So we have the classification track, and it would go into the yard, but instead it would be a single yard lead, and then it would split off into 4 sidings that kind of spurred off and went deeper into the layout. I could store about, I'm going to say 10, 11 cars on a good day. Yes, some of the space right now is currently occupied by locomotives, but I'm going to say now I can probably get about 12 to 15 scale pieces in here. As you can see, like this intermodal and husky stack right here is an absolute beast. It is an awesome car. I got it for my birthday a few weeks ago. I'm going to be doing a video on this. But yeah, so I can get good capacity in this updated yard now. And with the scenery, I think it looks great. It looks like a much more realistic yard with the straight tracks kind of next to each other. And then you kind of have straight track building off of straight track here, which I really like the look of that. Okay, so you guys could totally just throw it at me and say I am making use of every single square inch on this layout. There are not a lot of areas on the layout where it's just a scenery scene or, you know, just bare plywood or bare areas, right? There's a lot of track going on here, and let's see, how many sidings? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 sidings. The sidings on the left, so these left 3, this one here with the blue coal load, this one here with the center beam, and these ore cars, those are all in the same yard. So that's yard 2, and that is Atlas track. So what's going to happen here is similar to what happened in yard 1 with this scenery. I'm going to have to take all these cars off, and I'm probably going to lay down some grass or some dirt scenery like what's over there, and then I'll make a nice ballast underlaying similar to what Fast Track does. Fast Track has this ballast that's underneath the rail. I'll try and do something with the Atlas track over here to make it seem a little more realistic, and then I'll put the cars back on top, and I'll get some ballast and probably some more sheds like what's over here. But yeah, so this other yard now I can fit probably 12 cars on a good day, you know, including these ore cars, I could probably even fit 16, 17. It's not at full capacity right now, and I could probably extend one of the sidings too. So something I'd like to talk about with this yard is that it is going to be on an isolated power supply, or the block power supply. So let me relocate and I'll elaborate on that. Okay, so for those of you who have been in the O-gauge model railroading hobby for a little longer, probably know what I'm talking about when I say block power supply, or in other words, isolated power supply. Essentially, it is where you have a split in the rail, and then you have its own direct feed and supply of power. Right here, we have this wire which brings power here, and then we have a few more power pickup points deeper into the yard. Right here down by the pilot of the engine, we have a split in the track. So that stops the power that is on this mainline feed here from proceeding into here. And we can manually, when we want to, power up this end. And let's say we have a switcher in here, we can switch out cars. But when there's nothing in there and we don't want power, we can turn the power down and then there's no power going here. So that's a way to kind of save energy, but at the same time you have a little more control over the layout. And me being a big fan of switching and modern freight operations, this is great. Hope you guys stay safe out there. I'm sorry I couldn't give you a running session today, but hopefully you enjoyed a little layout update, which should hype you guys up for what's coming soon. I've got a lot of great stuff planned. All I got to do is just get this power going. But I didn't want to keep you guys waiting for too long. Alright? Stay safe, stay tuned, and I'll see you guys in the next video.